Okay, YouTubers, this is the Angry Prepper. Thank you for watching the Angry Truth channel. So today's video, we're going to talk about how you can make money reporting people who are blocking bike lanes here in New York City. Now, I'm going to give you a little bit of information about bike lanes in New York City. The majority of bike lanes in New York City are not being used at all. About 75% of them are not being used. And I got this directly from a guy who worked for the DOT. Me and the guy were having a conversation in front of my building about a year ago, if not maybe 2 years ago now. They were looking to put bike lanes up here by me. And I was like, what the fuck? What they were essentially going to wind up doing was probably getting rid of parked cars or where we park our cars and put the bike lanes there. So that was about a year ago, 2 years ago, and they never got around to it. That's not saying that it's not still in motion. But talking to him, he goes 75% of the lanes are not being used. They added 22 miles of bike lane this year alone. There's not mistaken, hundreds of miles of bike lane throughout the 5 boroughs. Now, to back up that guy's stats, if you will, when I worked in the Bronx or visit my parents uptown, and even here in Harlem, you rarely see people in the bike lanes. Rarely. They're normally in the streets, not in the bike lanes. That's one. Two, in the South Bronx, you never seen anybody in the bike lanes. Just about never. Here and there, you might see somebody on a city bike in a bike lane or somebody in their own bike in a bike lane. Still, they put all these bike lanes in New York City, and 25% of it is being used. All right, so the majority of it is being used in Midtown, Lower Manhattan, Brooklyn, and some spots in Queens. That's it. Everywhere else, especially the ghetto neighborhoods, if you will, you're not seeing the bike lanes out there. So, with that, guys, you are, in the near future, will be able to report cars blocking bike lanes. Now, that is not a law yet. That's a hotline that they're looking to start. In New York City, with all the crime we have going on, this is your main focus. Instead of fighting crime, you want to rat out people parked in bike lanes. Now, listen, I have a bone to pick with bikers in the city. I used to be a messenger. I used to learn how to ride, and I was fucking good at it. These motherfuckers are not good at it. They suck. They want to block. They want to ride in the middle of the street with an available bike lane next to them. That's the crazy shit. And then they turn around and act like the victim if you clip them or hit them. Not the point. And that's the majority of these assholes. Not some of them, not a few, the majority. I see it every day here in the city. And then they want to blame cars. Cars are probably part of the problem as well. I'm not going to exclude us completely. I think cars can be dicks with the bikers, but bikers are bigger dicks, especially when they want to follow the rules of the road when it applies to them. They'll blow through stoplights. They'll do all this crazy shit. But as soon as they get in front of a car, they're like, we're supposed to share the road. That's not sharing the road, dick. You're fucking going at the speed of 5 miles an hour while the city limits is 25 miles, if I'm not mistaken. Still, that's a gripe, not the point. The point is they want you to rat out people for blocking bike lanes. Here's the problem. The issue is you don't know why that person's parked there. It could be an emergency. It might not be an emergency. To be fair, probably 90% of the times it will not be an emergency, but you just don't know. Now, here's the kick, guys. The kick is the hotline you can get paid for if you send in evidence of this person blocking the bike lane. So how it works is you call up the hotline. You're like, yo, there's this dude blocking the bike lane. And then the operator goes, all right, can you send us proof to this email address? You take a picture of the person parked in the bike lane, a picture of their license plate, and you send it to this people. Now, what they do is they send the person a ticket after being ratted on, and the ticket is $175. So now the owner of that vehicle has to pay $175. The person who called it in gets a 25% bounty from that $175, right? Go figure. Now we have another law that's like that, that's in play now. I think it was in place since 2018, where you report commercial vehicles idling. And I think it's the same price, if I'm not mistaken, and you get 25% of that bounty as well. I don't know how many people are doing that, but supposedly their numbers went up in reports of, matter of fact, sorry, there was some crazy amount of money given to people who reported those idling vehicles, which I think was upwards of $700,000 total. So, I mean, I don't know how that breaks down to how many people called, but still, people are ratting people out for idling vehicles. Imagine blocking bike lanes. That's probably going to skyrocket, because if you offer somebody 25% of $175 and they do it enough and they make that their job by just taking pictures of every car parked in a bike lane, they could rack up some money over a few months. So again, the city's not going to focus on crime. They're not going to focus on people getting shoved in train tracks or women getting raped in the middle of the fucking street, kids getting shot like hotcakes. No, they can't do that. They have to focus on the car blocking the bike lane, because that, according to one politician, is a city safety risk. Again, not the elevating crime, not the psych patients shaking their dicks on the street corner in front of kids. No, that's not important. The car blocking the bike lane is, because it's a safety risk. Now, of course, guys, the person who introduced this bill is a council member, Leslie Reicher. It's this asshole here. Look at this douche. This guy looks like a dick. Glasses, sweatshirt for a professional picture, or his profile picture for his council member site or whatever it is, page. And he's dressed like this. Tells you he's a dick. Anyway, this is the guy that introduced this bill. This bill is having a hard time, like I said, being pushed through. He doesn't have too many people right now. I think he has 20 co-sponsors for the bill. I don't know how many he needs to kick it through. But right now, guys, this should be on the back burner. This should be the least of your problems. You should be focused on crime. But of course, Eric Adams and his band of fucking assholes, they're not worried about it. They're worried about how many fucking people they can get hooked up for parking at a bike lane or vehicles idling because they're waiting for a delivery. Now, of course, a couple other cities were going to implement this. I know DC was thinking about doing this, but they 86'd the idea. And Austin, Texas is pondering or thinking about doing the same thing for the same amount of money, which is crazy. But again, guys, you're probably going to see more liberal cities instituting this instead of worried about crime. It's mind-boggling to me that Democrats are worried about fucking people over who are working hard, because a lot of the people that park in bike lanes, believe it or not, are making deliveries. So the guy who's delivering, trying to make ends meet, is now going to be hit with a $175 blocking ticket, if you will, because he has nowhere to park, because bike lanes displaced a lot of parking in those stupid city bike racks. They displaced a lot of parking. So now these people left nowhere to park, even if they had to hop out of their car for a second to just go, deal with something. And I'm pretty sure that implies with you even sitting in the car. Again, this is going to create a problem. And I already have a solution what I'm doing with my car, and they're not going to like it. I might get in trouble, but it'll be fucking completely worth it. Now, there was one politician who was complaining about this bill, saying it was a bad idea because for low-income people, they trying to make ends meet, like I just said, if they get hit with this $175 ticket, that's their day's wage, possibly their day's wage right there. So again, there was one politician out of, I don't know, a few hundred council members, or maybe not that many council members, but a lot of council members, one made that rebuttal. Anyway, guys, with that being said, the city's falling apart, and they're worried about adding more cameras for bike lanes. Forget about cameras just to check out criminals or catch criminals. They want more cameras for bike lanes so that they can catch people blocking bike lanes. Like I said, I know a lot of you said this before, but it is time to fucking leave the city if that's what they're focused on. Fuck the crime. Let the criminals do what they're going to do, but we must catch those dudes parked at the bike lane, because they are making this city fall apart and they're increasing the crime rate. That's pretty much what comes out of Democrats' mouths. Anyway, with that, guys, this is the Angry Prepper. Thank you for watching.